Hello and welcome to this week's book vlog. I read a total of this many books. Let's take a look at what I read. Also, how cute is this dress? Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with this galaxy vibe? Oh, love it. So the books that I have read so far this week, one of them is Be More Human by Tony Riddle, How to Transform Your Lifestyle for Optimum Health, Happiness and Vitality. This was pretty basic. I've given it 3 stars. I didn't really learn anything new from it. It covers the basic tenets of health and wellness currently, which is cold exposure, breathing, walking barefoot, eating well, aligning yourself with the circadian rhythm, and basically rewilding yourself. The writing was a bit too bro-y for me. I didn't love it, and so therefore I've just given it a 3. I also read Witches of Ash and Ruin, and this was about 3 queer teenage witches and a group of 3 witch hunter brothers. I decided to DNF this because it was too young, and also because there were 5 POVs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 POVs, and that's just too many for me. I'm not into it, so I had to put that one down. I also tried listening to Chain of Gold by Cassandra, Clare, and I think I am just too far from this series now. I read it so long ago. This one I spent 2 hours, sorry that's blue. I listened to 2 hours of it and I was really bored. It was just not getting into it. Mostly it was about some teenage girls fangirling over some teenage boys. So it was not for me, decided to DNF that. And I'm currently reading Dirty Lying Fairies. So I've just started, but it's also feeling a touch young, a touch too colloquial for me. Hey, Blue. Here's Blue. Here's my little baby kitten. Isn't she adorable? I love her so much. I love her so much. So if Dirty Lying Fairies does not work out, I will probably go on to this book right here, which is The Magick of Matter, Crystals, Chaos, and the Wizardry of Physics by Felix. So we'll see how we go. I'm going to give it 50 pages. I'm really setting a hard limit for myself from now on because I've been wasting so much time with books that are just... If a book is really hard to get into, even if the rest of it is amazing, it's not going to be more than a 4.5. And I just really want some 5 stars. I'm thirsting for some 5 stars. Famished for 5. So I'm going to give it 50 pages. Otherwise, I'll go on to this non-fic and the same thing. 50 pages, I've got to check in with myself. How are you really feeling about it? Is it feeling like you want to keep going? Or could you put it down, walk away? If you can put it down, walk away and not even think about it, then put it down, my love, and reach for another tome. So today, I am just going to be at home with my babies. I've got my best friend, Kate, and her husband coming over later today to say hello to the kitten. The kitten at the moment still has her kitten teeth, but her adult teeth have come through. So her kitten teeth have been pushed out and they're half loose, half in, and they're sort of dying, the teeth. So I've booked her into the vet to have them removed, but it's not until Wednesday. So my friend Kate's going to see how loose they are, if she can just pull them. I can't do that. I wobbled it and I thought I just can't do it. I'm very reticent to cause pain to any being. So I couldn't do it on the chance that she would yelp. So she's going to give it a go. So that's just some dude in his red car driving past. She's had so many cats. She's like a real cat mama. So we'll see how that goes. But otherwise it's just going to be a chill day with the homies at home. Look at the progress. Sleeping really close by. Yes, you did. Okay, so I read 50 pages of Dirty Lying Fairies and I am DNFing it. So in this one, you've got a girl named Thea and a fae lord named Devon. And one day she meets him at a gallery. It is very insta-love, which not for me, my friends. And she finds out that she's becoming a fairy. This had way too much cringe dialogue. A lot of insults. There's this dude that calls her floor sign because she likes to do yoga. And he just kept calling her floor sign. And I just found it really irritating. So yeah, this wasn't for me. I was not a fan of the dialogue. It's dialogue heavy. It's just all about the talk. And the characters just feel really cheesy. And I'm not into insta-love, just not into it. So I am deciding to DNF Dirty Lying Fairy. Just want to say a big thank you to my beautiful friend Kate, who got me this lovely yarn from Melbourne City Dye Works in hibiscus to add to my blanket.
Look at this. 3, 2, 1, 5, What, Sylvie?
Yeah.
Sylvie?
Hello, good morning, good morning. So let me update you on what I have read. I finished The Magic of Matter by Felix Flicker. I'm not rating this because it is above my pay grade. It is about physics, so there are stuff like quantum field theory, quantum mechanics, thermodynamics, all of that jazz. Physics was the only science I didn't study in school. It's not my cup of tea, even though I'm fascinated by astronomy and things like that. The actual like mechanics of it is just like there's too much math and theory. But this author does try to approach it with a magical lens, and I did appreciate that. So it was a really cool view of these theories and you know, all the things like atoms and energy and matter and all of that stuff. He did reference a lot of pop culture. He did also reference a lot of fictional stories like Harry Potter, Earthsea, all these things that maybe exhibited what he was trying to explain, the theories he was trying to explain. I learned some cool things, like I learned about the scientist Giambattista della Porta, who founded the world's first scientific society, the Academia Secretorum Naturae, Academy of the Secrets of Nature, and how him and his colleagues were arrested by the Inquisition under suspicion of sorcery, and to communicate with each other, he devised this way of passing messages in eggs, in hard-boiled eggs, that when the friends that were incarcerated cracked the shell off on the egg were written messages. So that was really cool. Like, there's some cool stuff. He talks a lot about the Marvel Cinematic Universe in terms of explaining some things too, but it's just too... It is too scientific to me. The subject matter is just too dense, even with this magical lens of making scientists wizards. It's still just, yeah, it wasn't for me. But I did enjoy trying to understand it a little more, but it was just, yeah, for me, I'm going to no longer read any physics books. This was the best attempt yet, like, at making physics fun for me, but I think physics is just a little too smart for my brains. So I was reading Throne of Shadows and I decided to DNF it. It is a fantasy book with witches and princesses and princes and people trying to kill people. Very standard fantasy. It were 4 POVs and I just couldn't get into it at all. It was boring for me. I read a decent amount and then I decided to DNF it. It just fell flat, and sometimes it just happens. It's just nothing there to spark my interest. So that was Throne of Shadows that I DNF'd. And then I read Other Ever Afters, which is a graphic novel that's supposed to have a queer take on traditional fairy tales. I'll show some pictures I took because this I had to read on my iPad because I couldn't they only had an electronic copy. So I read it on my iPad, and to be honest, it's fine reading graphic novels on the iPad. That's fine because at least it's in color. So I'll show you some pictures. The illustrations were lovely, but this was a bit meh. The fairy tales weren't that revolutionary, like the twists, and I wasn't really getting what I was hoping to get from a queer take on the fairy tales. I wanted something new and interesting and maybe that haven't had a message or something of that vein, but they were just pretty boring fairy tales, like the same fairy tales, just sexuality is reversed. So yeah, that was a bit disappointing, to be honest. And a lot of them just were so short and just felt like nothing, like just bits of fluff. That was Other Ever Afters. The next book I'm going to read is Ghost Music, because I don't think this is winning on the poll. I can see already that I'm about to close the poll in a few days anyway, and this is not going to win. It's not going to win. So I thought may as well read it because I do have to take this back to the library in less than 2 weeks because I can't renew the loan. Someone's reserved it. So I'm going to give this one a go and we'll see how that goes. I love this jumper. I just have to show you this little dude right there. How cute is that? And it's so soft and cozy. It's autumn now and it's cold today. It's cold and rainy. The summer really was the most shortest blip of a summer I have ever experienced. And that sucks because summer is my jam. But I also love the start of autumn as long as it's warm. But this autumn is looking to be a bit hot and cold. So But I'm off today to drop my kiddo off to a birthday party. It's at a roller skating rink. Brings back flashbacks for me. This little kitten. When I was a kid, it was all roller skating rink parties. I am exhausted and probably not looking forward to sitting there for 2 hours watching kids go round and round, but that's what you have to do when you're a parent. You do some boring stuff. There's a lot of repetition and tedious activities, but that's pretty much all we have planned for today. Party and then home, and hopefully just lots of reading, lots of crocheting because my best friend bought me some yarn, so I want to add it to my blanket, and lots of monitoring the kittens. So I am about a quarter of the way through this, and I actually am really enjoying it. It's so weird that all the fantasy picks so far have really let me down, and then a lit fic is like coming in to save the day. We'll see how we go. I'm only a quarter of the way through, but so far it's just about Song and sort of her really messed up relationship with her husband. They don't communicate whatsoever. She doesn't know anything about him. She's been with a man for over 3 years, and she's slowly learning about him through his mother, who's come to live with them. The mother is very passive aggressive and controlling, and the mushrooms have started arriving. So we'll see how this goes, but so far I'm enjoying the writing and I'm actually interested in the story. This candle, maple pancakes, so good. So good. Hello. So to sort of deal with my sadness from my breakup, I thought it would be good for my mental health to actually leave my house instead of staying home and just being in here all the time. So I thought I would go to the library, return some books, pick up some new ones. Am I sort of regretting it? Yeah, I'm already regretting it. It looks like it was really sunny, but it currently looks like it's about to bucket down. It is very windy and I'm wearing a short skirt. Probably not the best choice, but it was so bloody hot before, 30 something degrees. But I thought, get some movement. I'm already puffed out. That's how little cardio I do. I do no cardio. I do zero cardio. Basically, I just do lots of yin yoga. So I thought I'd go, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I don't get rained on. If I do, I do. I also decided not to wear socks with my shoes. I might regret that as well. I forgot to mention, I decided I'm also going to listen to a succession of faces while I walk. So we'll see how that goes. Hello, I am back. I am sweating profusely. I am way more unfit than I even thought I was, which is no surprise because, hey, if you don't exercise, you're not fit. Who knew, right? So not wearing socks was about a mistake. I have blisters on my feet all over. Lesson learned. So I picked up some books. Let's have a look-see at what I picked up. Hey, beautiful girl. Okay, so the first book I got is Unmasking Autism, The Power of Embracing Our Hidden Neurodiversity by Dr. Devon Price. Then I picked up Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. I also got this Easy No-Churn Ice Cream recipe book by Heather Templeton. Then I picked up The Moonday Letters, A Journey Through Time and Space Where Earth's Future Hangs in the Balance by Emmy Taranta. And then I've got Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, which I'm really excited to read. I was contemplating purchasing this, but I just can't do it, guys. I can't buy books that I don't already know are my favorites. I can only buy books that are 5 stars. So I decided to get it from the library because I'm a library hoe for show. Now, the book that I just listened to on audiobook, A Succession of Faces, it was a super short story. It won a literary award. It's YA, and it was touted as YA mystery crime thriller. But I feel like it was more dystopian, to be honest, because it was about a girl who has a number. She goes by a number, not a name, and she's in some sort of facility where they do things to her body and they tell her that it's for the greater good and it's helping everyone. And then one day someone else comes in to liberate her, and she rebels because she's been like sort of brainwashed to be a good girl and to comply with the other people and not to comply with strangers. It didn't really do anything for me whatsoever because the main character was nameless and she's practically thoughtless as well. She's just programmed, so she was just running through her programming in her head. That's what you heard. She didn't really have a distinct voice. She didn't really have any opinions, obviously. She was just sort of like a blank slate, and so I found it really boring. And I'm not going to rate it though, but if I was going to rate it online, I probably would have given it 2 stars, but I'm just going to mark it as read and move on. So I just read City of Dusk. Now this was touted as a dark epic fantasy. For me, it felt very YA. So it centers around these 4 realms that have 4 gods and 4 houses, and you get the POVs of 4 of the champions from each of the houses. And after 50 pages, I asked myself, is it interesting? Do you like the writing? Do you like the characters? Do you like the storyline? And the answer was a resounding no. No, it was just feeling all a bit meh for me personally. So I decided to DNF it. And that is all of the books that I read this week. Next week, I've got a lot of library books to read. I've got books on my TBR that I want to like tick off. And I am pretty much doing the last round of the Kids Corner segment. So I've got a few kids and middle grade books to read. But that is everything. I hope that wherever you are having a magical morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay wild, star child.